Very often I get asked, how do I make my pictures? People who just get to know me, or people around me, people who I already know, people who are new to me, they always, after seeing my Instagram, they ask, how do you make your pictures? They're so cool. So in this video, I'll share some tips and hacks on probably the most asked question in my personal life, how to make cool and creative / artistic pictures. Here we go. First of all, there are the main important aspects to taking great pictures: the photographer and the model. Surprise! Also, things like ability to spot a shot, ability to pose, the creative setup or idea, location / background. These are all important in taking great pictures, which part of the job is for the photographer and part of the job is for the model. Let's start with the photographer. Usually, great pictures are taken by a great photographer who can see the shot, who has an eye on things, on photography. Like the model does a part, but a great photographer sees good angles, the lighting, the setup, the distance. A photographer must see the shots. Part of the job of the photographer is also fixing the hair, the clothing, everything, like fixing things if they look a little bit silly and not good on the photo. But in the situations when you don't have a good photographer next to you, or like a photographer with an eye and the skill, then you as a model have to have it all. You have to have the ability to pose, the ability to see the shot, the ability to have the creative idea, the ability to fix your own clothing and hair and just do it all yourself. So if you, as the model, as the person in the photo, if you have the ability to see the shot, the photo, the picture, then what you're gonna do is you're going to take the person with you, so your photographer at that moment, the person who's going to take your photo. You're going to put them into their place, put their hands into the right position, you know, like this. You're going to put the camera or the phone exactly into the right angle, position and everything, and then you're going to say them that all you need to do is stay right there where you are and press the button. So that's an option if you don't have a good photographer with you. If you don't have it all, then don't be discouraged. Everything can be learned, and especially such thing as ability to see the creative shots. That can be all learned. Very easy, which I'm going to talk about a little later in this video. Now we're going to move into the model's job. What is the model's part in taking great pictures? Okay, the model needs to have an ability to pose whenever, wherever, without being shy. So the model needs to throw herself or himself into the photo shoot completely. Just let it flow. Be open and creative. You as a model must be able not to care what others think. Obviously, you also must be able to come up with creative posing ideas just moving. You know, if you as a model are not able to come up with creative posing ideas, then the photographer must be able to guide you in where to place your hand and where to put your leg and how to be. How I come up with creative posing ideas is that I just let myself flow. I let my body flow. I just move differently, take the space. It's like dancing, and not every pose will be the pose. Don't care. Just let yourself free, improvise. Look, how can you use your surroundings? Can you put your legs somewhere? Can you climb somewhere? Can you put your hand against something? Use your senses. Is it cold or warm? Is sun shining? Showcase the sun on your face. What kind of vibe do you want to give? Is it powerful? Maybe soft? Maybe vulnerable? All these things you need to consider as a model. So, quick conclusion before we move on. A great photo includes a great photographer and a great model. If there is one missing, then one has to have it all. So if there is no great model, then the photographer has to have the ability to also help the model in posing and everything. If the photographer doesn't have the ability to see the shots and like the angles and everything, then the model has to have that skill and help the photographer to help the model to take the pictures. Okay, let's move on. So I thought I would also want to share some extra tips on how to pose better. Tip number 1. So if during photoshoot your facial expressions doesn't come naturally, you can train this in front of a mirror at home, for example. Don't overdo this, but just spend a while in front of a mirror and look at your face and like practice different facial expressions and discover what do you like the most, what appeals to you the most, what looks nice, and how, in what position like how to put your lips, how to have your cheeks, your eyes, like which facial expression or expressions look the best, and then consciously try to implement during a photo shoot until it becomes natural to you during a photo shoot. What I found to be the most nice is when your face is as natural as possible, and then you open your eyes a little bit and have a little soft smile. But this also again depends on the person, on the face, and the image you want to create of yourself, and then just based on your type as a person. For example, for me, a big smile, I don't smile on pictures because I look like an idiot. My pictures are more serious, and if I smile, it's very soft smile. Whereas for some girls, super big and genuine smiles are just, they look so beautiful and pretty and kissable, you know? You also need to discover what fits your face. It's also part of self-discovery, I would say. For me, a big smile is very rare, even in a family photo, whereas some girls, it's the only way to go for them. So you gotta find your thing. Tip number 2 on how to improve your posing skills is to, again, take a mirror and spend some time in front of it at home or wherever and practice different poses, like move, like test your body in different positions, what looks nice, what do you like. This is also just trial and error, and maybe you can also take online some picture inspirations and then try those poses and see like, do they look good on you? And again, trial and error. Just practice different poses in front of a mirror. Tip number 3, take a dancing class. That's great way to open up your body if you're someone stiff and you need a little bit more, like open your body more and become more relaxed, then dancing class is amazing for that. And perhaps you also expand your body into new dimensions, which you can utilize during photo shoots. And tip 4, when doing like whole body pictures, like or like mid body where you still like see most of your body in the picture, a good tip is to suck your tummy in, not to look skinnier, but to keep your core strong. Like suck it in and it creates a better shape. When you suck your tummy in, this will automatically fix your posture so that it looks more appealing to the eye. And moving on to the next part, which is how to find inspiration for great pictures, because again, part of the great pictures is the inspiration, is the idea, the creative behind it. So how do you actually find great ideas besides Pinterest? You can find inspiration basically everywhere around you. I know that a lot of people probably use Pinterest. I do it also myself, but I recommend doing it in moderation. Yes, it is okay to find ideas on Pinterest, but I really recommend doing it in moderation. Because the thing is that the best ideas come from our own head. The best ideas are original, but when you use too much social media or Pinterest for inspiration, the danger there is that the ideas will not be yours anymore. You won't have your original ideas anymore. That's the danger of it. Because the fact is that every time when we see something on the internet, we lose a little bit of our own creativity. Because the thing is that we take it in, we see something, we get inspired and we take it in, and then you get a creative idea, and then you might think, oh, this is my original idea, but actually it might be that it's just a copy of the other picture that you just saw. So Pinterest is great for ideas, but use it only for inspiration, not copying. But how do you do this? How do you inspire yourself instead of copy? Well, how I do this, and I found that this works for many, is that you scroll on Pinterest, for example, search for ideas, creative ideas when you lack of them, and you look at the pictures, you look at them from the idea that how is this picture done? What kind of colors have there been used? What kind of lighting? What's the angle? Why is this picture so great? Like analyze these pictures more than just copy. More analyzing, less copying. And then save them. Then close the app and forget about it for some time. And then when you've forgotten about it, you'll notice that, oh, you're getting ideas. Some ideas are automatically coming to your head and you're like, okay, let's do them. And this is also a great way to train your visual eye when you use Pinterest for analyzing more. So how does the model pose on that picture? How is the picture done? Which angle is it shot from? What distance is used? What lighting? What editing? How is the model in the picture? What kind of vibe does she get? Like, analyze more, as I already mentioned. Sometimes it can be that you look at the picture and idea spikes into your head immediately. It just comes with the speed of a lightning. What I mean with this is that your own idea, not the copy, but just original. It can sometimes be that you see a part of the picture. Sometimes I scroll on Pinterest and then I see just a little part of the picture, let's say a green bag, and then some just like blurred background before my eye recognizes the whole picture, like before my eye and brain recognizes the whole picture. But before I recognize the whole picture, there's already idea in my head because I just saw first a small part of the picture. Then I consider it's not copying because it's a completely different idea, but just picture just for some reason helped to inspire you. This can also happen, and then it's okay to immediately go creating. And other sources for inspiration are magazines, museums, art in general, movies, videos, everything. Clothing can be a source of inspiration, nature can be a source of inspiration. It's very different for different people as well. For example, I know that for me there are mainly 3 sources of inspiration. One is clothing. Very often for me, inspiration for photo shoot is the clothing and what kind of styling I want to create, what kind of vibe, what kind of creative idea I have behind that clothing piece. Second source of inspiration for me can be different locations and nature, for example. When I travel and then I see a certain location and then I'm like, this location requires a photo shoot, because then I'm immediately in my head like, this is what we're gonna create here. And then I have a third source of inspiration, which for me is like, it's very random things. Sometimes it can be a piece of folio paper, sometimes it can be a clock, sometimes it can be a leaf. So it's very random sometimes. So this you also like, you need to learn yourself what inspires you. So at some point you want to be at the point where you're like, everything around you is inspiring you. And in order to reach this point, you need to be open. I would say that the source of inspiration is everything, everywhere. You never know when it hits you. So you just need to let your mind free for the inspiration to reach you. The next, I thought I will share a little secret hack on how to find the locations, photo shoot locations. I think the most common way to find the photo locations is to follow influencers and see where they go. That's very mainstream, I would say. Everyone can do that, but there is also other ways you can find secret locations or more like unique locations. So one hack that I use in order to find, I'm going to say the word, I hate it so much, Instagrammable locations, is to use the Instagram itself. So what you're gonna do is you're going to go to Instagram. Let's say you're traveling somewhere. You're going to type into the Instagram search the name of the country or the city, just the location where you're traveling. And then you're going to spend some time scrolling the feed, the search results. This way, when you spend a little time on scrolling, you will come across of the popular places, but then there will be some people who went to some not so popular places, but that look very cool. So this way you can find very nice hidden gems. But this requires a little longer scrolling and searching than just looking at the first 10 results. Other way to find nice locations is to look at your surroundings, pay attention where you go, what is around you. This way you can find hidden gems that are not even popular on Instagram yet and might never be, but they're just very photogenic locations. For example, we were traveling with my best friend in Montenegro and we were just walking around there, and then we came across a very nice, very cute, I think it was some kind of a light shop, and then I was just like, hey, there, we're gonna do a picture, and this is the result. I know the editing is a little bit off, but it was trendy at the time. And then one other way to find nice location ideas or inspirations is to look at professional photo shoots in magazines, for example. I think very often you will notice that they use beach, studio, or a city. But anyways, that's also a great way to see how they use it. Just the basic locations, but how do they use them? Then let's quickly talk about how to develop your own creativity, so your pictures will be even better and more unique and artistic, and your expression of creativity and you. Well, the best way to develop your own creativity is by practice. Just start doing. Start taking pictures of everything, pay attention to your surroundings, and look at everything with curiosity. you want to be able to look at the foil paper and be like, I have a photo idea. As I mentioned, there are so weird sources of inspiration. So literally the inspiration is everything everywhere. But in order for you to develop yourself to that point, you need to practice by taking photos of everything until you like train yourself, your eye, recognizing the good shots and the bad shots. There's also different exercises that design students do, for example, to develop their own creativity. But in case of photography, you'll get better by practice, by just doing and doing and doing. Extra tip on how to tap into your creativity is, well, first you need to a little bit practice and understand what state for you is the most creative state. For me, it's the most relaxed state. And I've noticed that for many, creativity comes when you're fully relaxed, when your brain is not thinking about anything and you're just chill. So for me, this is after very long night of sleep and in the morning. Or other situation when I've noticed that I'm super creative is when I'm hangovered. Yes, then it's very weird and crazy ideas, but at least some benefit from hangover, right? I have like the worst anxiety when I'm hangover, but I also have the most crazy creative ideas, so it's like a little bit double for me. But as I mentioned, you have to get to know yourself. It's also a part of self-discovery to know which state for you is the most creative state. But I've noticed that for many it's the most relaxed state, when the brain is not feeling any pressure, there is no stress and so on. So basically these were the tips and hacks on how to make better Instagram pictures or pictures in general. And if you're not good at modeling or taking pictures, don't worry, you can train yourself to see the great shots and you can train your visual eye. And if you're not good at modeling, that you can also train, you can learn the modeling with the tips I provided in this video. There's nothing complicated, it's not rocket science, it's just practice. Remember, great pictures need a great photographer and a great model. If there is no great photographer, then the model has to have it all. If there is no great model, then the photographer has to have the ability to help the model in the picture to model. And to develop your artistic expression and your creative skills, you need to learn more about yourself and what inspires you. If this video was valuable to you, please give it a like, and if you want to see more content from me like this, consider subscribing to my channel. And if you want to be further inspired, watch this video next. And I thank you for watching this video, and I see you in the next one. Bye bye!